Hey, welcome back. In this lesson, I'll show you how to create this cape. So to start, let's create, or let's rather append a plane 3D to our object. And it looks like nothing happened because we have to look at it from the front. By default, ZBrush does backface culling. So to fix that, we're going to go down to our display properties and turn on double. Make sure you alt click on your plane first so that that object is selected. So let's first move it back a little bit, move it up a little bit, kind of to where a cape would be. Oops. And scale it down a little bit. I'm going to turn symmetry on for this. Now we're just going to wrap the edges over using Move Elastic with symmetry turned on. We could just grab these ends, kind of put them over, do a little polish because smooth doesn't work on the edges of things, the edges of objects. And so we have this extra little cape thing. We could just use our slice curve from the side to, so draw that out. I'm moving it around with the space bar. If you hit Alt, you can bend it. And I'm just gonna do something like that. And you can see it. Put a slice right there. I'm just gonna deselect that slice, delete hidden. Now I got this cape looking thing. I'm just gonna move that in a little bit. Okay, so obviously you want to load in a reference as we always do and draw from that, or I mean, you could just sculpt away. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to show you some basic ways to sculpt this. Just like we did the scarf, you're putting in positives, negatives with the standard brush. There we go. So definitely, if you're building this cape, you want to go into more detail than this. But for the purposes of this demonstration, this is going to work just great. So I'm going to subdivide this quite a few times because this next step is going to require this to be subdivided a few times. I'm going to delete lower and let's see how our subdivisions look. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to use my standard brush, turn the focal shift down and just kind of draw. I'm going to create this frayed edge effect. And I'm holding Alt to kind of sharpen these things up. So this is another one of those things where you can use reference. I know I always talk about reference, but to me that's the only way to get good. And I'm not saying I'm good because I'm not. I need to follow reference, and I always do. Without it, I'm completely lost. So I believe that anyone who is serious about being a good artist needs to follow reference. And then once they feel like they have the gist of it, or they have the feel of it, then to save time, they can not use it. But all the artists I look up to use it, so I will do what they do. Okay, so we got some rips here. I'm also going to put some rips in here, and keep in mind we can't have something like this because this would not stand on its own. It's either got to be connected by a thread, or we could later take it and kind of bend it out by selecting it. Be careful, if you control click your model, it's going to soften everything. So by accident, don't do that. Just going to put a few more rips. You can have things hanging from the top. Just make sure that if they're on the bottom, you're prepared to select them and then bend them afterwards. Okay, let's say that's what we want. I'm just going to go to polygroups and group masked, or you could do group mask, clear mask. So you could see here that it just grouped those ones we selected. And now we're going to delete hidden. So that's all we have. So the reason we needed this resolution is because without it, the result here would be too clumpy. And so there's a number of things we could do here. We could do polish. I feel like polish softens things up a little too much, so let's do a relax, slight relax. The relax is going to keep those kind of little sharp edges, and then we can go in, with our move tool, and we can either kind of carefully drag these little guys out. If you hit shift, it'll smooth the little jaggies back into them, and in my cape I could show you I kept some of that just for the fraying effect, because when you see it from far away, when you see it close up, it kind of looks silly, but when you see it from far away, it helps give that feeling that this is a ragged, torn piece of cloth. So you can, if you create some bottom ones, you could bend them like so, and that's to do that. You would just select this, hit Control, click it, and draw a rotate line. Oops, invert that, and then do something. Obviously, I'm not bending this the right way, but kind of have to do it bit by bit. Draw a transpose line. Do something like that, and then hit it with the smooth. So that's what it would look like if you wanted to do it from the other side. You can also go with a pinch to kind of get these. And you don't really have to worry about the UVs, because you could just do your standard unwrap in UV Master. Just pause it while I did that, and then let's turn double back on. And then just hit flatten, and you could see it did a pretty good job of doing that. There's our little face from before. Okay, a little sidetracked. Now, you could do the next two steps in whichever order you want. You could grab the move elastic and put it on a big size and kind of do this wave out thingy to make it blow in the wind, and then go back to geometry, edge loop, turn your polish down and hit it with a little panel loop, and probably something thinner than that, and then you got your cape. So in the next lesson I'll show you how to create the dagger for the character. Thanks for watching.